Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to our study along of the World Order of Baha'u'llah, Selected Letters by Shoghi Effendi. If you are new to this series, welcome. Linked below, you'll find all kinds of good stuff, including the launch video for this project so you understand what this book is and why I'm reading it and what it has to do with you and finding spiritual solutions for all of the world's problems, as well as a playlist for all of the weekly study along videos in this series leading up to today. And this document so you can study along, as well as a study guide and some more information about the Baha'i Faith in general. There are cicadas outside my window who are just making their case known that summer is not over yet. So I hope they aren't too distracting in the audio of this video. So last week we started in on a letter called America and the Most Great Peace, written in 1933. And this letter has not been broken up into subsections that are titled, so we're just going by number. So we're diving into paragraph 6 of America and the Most Great Peace. Dearly beloved friends, it is not for me, nor does it seem within the competence of any one of the present generation to trace the exact and full history of the rise and gradual consolidation of this invincible arm, this mighty organ of a continually advancing cause. It would be premature at this early stage of its evolution to attempt an exhaustive analysis or to arrive at a just estimate of the impelling forces that have urged it forward to occupy so exalted a place among the various instruments which the hand of omnipotence has fashioned, and is now perfecting for the execution of his divine purpose. Future historians of this mighty revelation, endowed with pens abler than any which its present-day supporters can claim to possess, will no doubt transmit to posterity a masterly exposition of the origins of those forces which, through a remarkable swing of the pendulum, have caused the administrative center of the faith to gravitate away from its cradle to the shores of the American continent and towards its very heart, the present mainspring and chief bulwark of its fast evolving institutions. So very interesting here. Shoghi Effendi is often reminding his readers that they and we, I think we're still in this process, are living through history and living through the unfoldment of, what does he say, the greatest spiritual drama of the world's history. But that for that reason, he knows that this is bigger than what we can see, and he knows that where it's going is glorious. But that since we are in it, right, we are characters in this unfolding drama, there's only so much commentary we can give, only so much analysis, only so much we can understand really of what we're living through, and definitely of where we're headed, But of course now he's talking about how the administrative center moved from the cradle of the faith in Persia to America, which is really an honor. It's amazing. On them will devolve the task of recording the history, so the future, and of estimating the significance of so radical a revolution in the fortunes of a slowly maturing faith. I love his language, right? A radical revolution in the fortunes of a slowly maturing faith. Theirs will be the opportunity to extol the virtues and to immortalize the memory of those men and women who have participated in its accomplishment. Theirs will be the privilege of evaluating the share which each of these champion builders of the world order of Baha'u'llah has had in ushering in that golden millennium, the promise of which lies enshrined in his teachings. Wow. Theirs will be the privilege of evaluating the share with which each of these champion builders of the world order of Baha'u'llah has had in ushering in that golden millennium. So how do you feel about that? If you are a believer and follower of Baha'u'llah, if you're a Baha'i watching this, being a champion builder of Baha'u'llah's divinely designed world order and ushering in a golden millennium. It's pretty motivating, isn't it? Does not the history of primitive Christianity and of the rise of Islam, each in its own way, offer a striking parallel to this strange phenomena, the beginnings of which we are now witnessing in this first century of the Baha'i era? Has not the divine impulse which gave birth to each of these great religious systems been driven through the operation of those forces which the irresistible growth of the faith itself had released, to seek away from the land of its birth and in more, I should have practiced this before I started recording, propitious, I think I got it, and in more propitious climes, a ready field and a more adequate medium for the incarnation of its spirit and the propagation of its cause. Have not the Asiatic churches of Jerusalem, of Antioch, and of Alexandria, consisting chiefly of those Jewish converts whose character and temperament inclined them to sympathize with the traditional ceremonies of the Mosaic dispensation, been forced, as they steadily declined, to recognize the growing ascendancy of their Greek and Roman brethren? Have they not been compelled to acknowledge the superior valor and the trained efficiency which have enabled these standard bearers of the cause of Jesus Christ to erect the symbols of his worldwide dominion on the ruins of a collapsing empire? I love it when he brings in the history of these big, beautiful, world-transforming faiths and gives us some sense of scale, right, of where we might fall in history based on, as he's saying, these parallels. And as I understand what he's talking about how the life and sincerity and energy that the followers of Christ were exhibiting, like the transformative power of this new faith, and how the Jewish converts were a part of that. Like, he's talking about these migrations of the centers of growth and potency in these faiths. Has not the animating spirit of Islam been constrained under the pressure of similar circumstances to abandon the inhospitable wastes of the Arabian home, the theater of its greatest sufferings and exploits, to yield in a distant land the fairest fruit of its slowly maturing civilization? Interesting. I never thought about that. And now we have a quote From the beginning of time until the present day, Abdu'l-Baha himself affirms, the light of divine revelation hath risen in the east and shed its radiance upon the west. The illumination thus shed hath, however, acquired in the west an extraordinary brilliancy. Consider the faith proclaimed by Jesus. Though it first appeared in the east, yet not until its light had been shed upon the west did the full measure of its potentialities become manifest. The day is approaching, he in another passage assures us, when ye shall witness through the splendor of the faith of Baha'u'llah, the west will have replaced the east, radiating the light of divine guidance. In the books of the prophets, he again asserts certain glad tidings are recorded, which are absolutely true and free from doubt. The east hath ever been the dawning place of the sun of truth. In the east all the prophets of God have appeared. The west hath acquired illumination from the east, but in some respects, the reflection of the light hath been greater in the Occident. It's so interesting. So all the prophets of God thus far have come from the east, but the light has shone brighter in the Occident, in the west. This is especially true of Christianity. That is true. Christianity is considered like such a Western faith, and it's because that's where, according to Abdu'l-Baha and historians, it most flourished and has glowed the most brightly, right? Jesus Christ appeared in Palestine, and his teachings were founded in that country, although the doors of the kingdom were first opened in that land, and the bestowals of God were spread broadcast from its center. The people of the West have embraced and promulgated Christianity more fully than the people of the East. All right, my friends, thank you so much for studying with me. That concludes paragraph 8 of this letter, America and the Most Great Peace. I so appreciate you studying with me and joining me on this channel. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, share it on your Facebook feeds, your Facebook groups, or with your community. I would love to get more people joining in on this study. And also like this video if you did. Give it a thumbs up. It's just the YouTube game. And feel free to drop comments. I know some of you do, and I really appreciate it. And it's really cool when we get some conversations going. So don't be afraid to share your thoughts or ask questions or any of that stuff. All right, my friends, until next time, I wish you the best for playing your unique part in making this world a better place. Catch you next time.